Chapter 10, From Pain to Power, Bruised but Not Broken. Sometimes the cards that we are dealt are not always fair. However, you must keep smiling and moving on. Tom Jackson. You are responsible for your life. You can't keep blaming somebody else for your dysfunction. Life is really about moving on. Oprah Winfrey. It is very refreshing to know that we can always have a second, third, or fourth chance in truth, even more chances than that, to start our lives over. It is empowering to see women in general having a voice, pursuing their education, running their own businesses, and acknowledging that God has given them a vision of greatness and they deserve every blessing they seek. The telephone prayer lines have, in my humble opinion, been a blessing to many. I'm excited when I see that women in general, be it us African or African American, are wasting no time in constructing and following their dreams. They all are walking along their path and building the road towards success. Many others, however, are still confined by fear that prevents them from moving towards their dreams. Many cannot find the strength to move beyond these fears. I believe God has already given us the authority to take action as seen in the gifts, our blessings that He has empowered us with. We only need to take those first steps and He will help us with the rest of the way. It is always exciting when I conduct workshops or when I'm a guest speaker, hearing women be passionate about their relationship with God, but also hearing that they have shared that passion through their businesses, through their work, and through the successes of their children. All these women and men are champions of God's will. We need to know that God is in the process of bringing us through a period called time. Once we understand that life is a process, then we don't judge people in the middle of their journey. My own process teaches me that because God has been patient with me, I need to be patient with myself, with others, and with God. Because God has given me some space, then I need to give others some space. Because He has given me grace, I am obligated to show grace to those whom I work with. I believe it is possible to rise from pain to find both power and purpose. I believe we can move from a state of being crushed and broken to being brave and courageous. The pain that we all endure now and then is a part of the process of life that teaches us to be strong. These pains also teach us to rely on God to bring us peace. I'm a certified trainer and coach of the Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway training sessions created by Susan Jeffers. In these training sessions are life-changing lessons on how to overcome the fears that keep us in our broken, bruised state. If we are to become whole, then we need to work on recognizing and overcoming the fears that get in our way. In short, Susan Jeffers explains how we handle fear as we move from pain to power, from helplessness to choice, from depression to excitement, and from paralysis to action. The way she explains it makes it clear that the secret in dealing with fear is to act as though you always have a choice. It's amazing what happens when you decide that you're going to do something or achieve something despite the fear. You quickly find that you have the power to do what is necessary. As of today, start listening to yourself and work on eliminating the thoughts that have prevented you from receiving the blessings you're praying for. Remember, you do have a choice. Even if the choice you make is to wait where you are and watch for a better opportunity to act. I realize that we are not the persons we used to be. Process is a way of changing who we are. Thank God we are not what we used to be, yet still on the path towards becoming what we're going to be. I don't know what happens to us when we're in the fire, facing challenges. We forget, we panic, we become hurt, and we resent others. There will be trials and tribulations that will befall us as believers. Victory is ours if we can take a step back and acknowledge the presence of the Lord or higher power through these difficult times. As believers, if we take the time to trust in Him, to endure the dark days, we can still have peace, even in the middle of the storm. As a matter of fact, we need to continue to glorify our God through the peace and confidence He shows us in the face of adversity. I have never seen Him forsake the righteous. Therefore, we need to remain in Him and have Him help us to find our peace and understanding to move beyond the tears. Since we know that trouble will come our way one day, that the troubles will come whether we are prepared or not, and how we deal with them is what matters, there is no saint when it comes to facing challenges and problems in life. I look at Mother, who is so peaceful because of prayer and stewardship. Her prayers, my prayers, and our belief in all things possible have helped. The telephone prayer lines in the church have helped me tremendously as well. Fellow sisters and mothers, it is very important that we find best ways to deal with our innermost pains. For my mother, the divine intervention has been the prayer lines and church. Mother has been such a good inspiration and motivation as she can relate to this, and she too has felt the same defeats. I feel we have all been at one point or another struck down but not destroyed. I feel that Mother represents a lot of women around the world who are in a battle of the emotions right now. They have never talked about their innermost pain, their embarrassment, their fears and ambitions. Many have lost their lives in the name of polygamy, but Mother has endured and survived. The stress has caused many people to endure high blood pressure, HIV/AIDS, untreated depression, and heart attacks, all of which have resulted in the untimely loss of life or terminal illness for some people. She has overcome the worst of the worst and lived to see God answer her prayer, to have her tears be a blessing to her children. I too have come through many storms, but I'm still standing. As my girl Lisa DeGovia Purcell affectionately said when she heard of this memoir project, "Stem, I am so happy for you. If anyone deserves happiness, you do. It's been a long road. I am so proud of you. Hugs and kisses, girl." My peace comes from my mother, who continues to pray and cry tears of joy, asking God to continue to shower me and my siblings with His never-ending love and blessings. In Matthew 28, verse 20, Jesus says, "Lo, I'm with you always, even to the end of the age." I love hearing this as I know that He is able. Like the weather, some days are good and some are bad. But through it all, I have to remember that I can do and be everywhere you saw. For the eyes of the Lord run to and from throughout the whole earth, to show Himself strong on behalf of those whose heart is loyal to Him. 2 Chronicles 16, verse 9. I can only say that my mother deserves every laugh, every bit of peace of mind she can get now that she's here in the USA reaping the rewards of her prayer and faithfulness. She now, more often than I care to count, will come into my room and say, "Thank you for making me so proud and happy." If I die today, please know that I'm at peace. I'm happy. Mine eyes have seen. I wanted God to keep me so that I can see the end of all this. I have seen. It is difficult to hear, but I'm consoled as I worry all the time if she's now at peace, if she has received the ultimate gift of all, a peace of mind. With that, I'm thinking of her now feeling a sense of unsurpassed peace, which is the absence of mental stress or anxiety and depression. I am thinking of a sense of peace that is the presence of serenity, calm, quiet, comfort of mind, and deep inner peace. I see her relaxed and I see her laughing, and I have no doubt she has received the gift of God's gift of peace. I don't hear her reiterating her pain over and over as she did before. I don't see her panic if my father sends a text message saying, "Tell your mother I'm selling the house." I have witnessed mother go through the following emotions, changes in her fight for peace and understanding beyond her tears. Accept what is. She has accepted what is. She now knows that there's only so much we can affect or change in our lives. Painful moments will happen whether you are good or bad. Your being a divine woman does not exempt you from painful moments. What we cannot change, what we cannot influence no matter what, should not be a concern to us. This is what I noticed, that before she focused and lingered on things my father did, his wife did to her when they were in their home. The pain she felt from relatives who betrayed her by accepting the other wives to be in her home. She had no control over why they did this. I see now she has let go. All relatives, in their own way, have spoken to mother and apologized, which is quite humbling on her part. She now will openly say, "Why worry about my father's behavior, something that all the worrying in the world will not change? Why care about what other people think of her when she's not even sure what it is they're actually thinking?" She has accepted what is, gaining herself an inner peace like no other. Meditate. Even though she will not call it meditation, I have seen mother take time to be quiet, relaxing, with no outside influences. I have seen her watch shows that are soothing and relaxing on television. I have seen her refrain from taking calls to relax her mind and then call once she's in good space. She treasures her peacefulness, which is a big step for her. She deserves the peace and relaxation. I tell her to enjoy the pension she has worked hard. Spend time in nature. Mother loves water, so we walk all the time by the beach or sit out on our patio and watch birds, look at the nature from our patio. She's an avid exercise freak. I call her, so you'll find her stretching, watching a yoga program, or exercising with an exercise session on television. Learn the power of a smile and letting go. Mother loves the phone. I have fun watching her acting like a kid whenever her friends or my siblings call. She's happy to talk to all, so if you ever call her and she talks to you for a second, then she tells you she has to take another call, please don't be offended. She has no telephone etiquette. Mother does not want to miss any calls. Her goal is just to say hello so that everyone knows they are acknowledged. My goal in prayer is to make sure that she gets what she wants. She goes wherever she wants to go and enjoys whatever she wants to enjoy. I am at her service. She is my queen. Every mother deserves that queen treatment, especially if they sacrifice their own happiness as my mother did. Care about others. I'm yet to know anybody who has unconditional love for everyone as my mother has. She has no discrimination that you are not a relative or her child. She genuinely loves and cares for everyone. She will tell you herself that she holds no grudges. She has no hate bone in her. I believe her. From the time we were young, we brought our friends home and they were hooked to both our parents. Mother has not changed. Friends will come to my house before I know it. They are coming back again and again to see mommy. She now provides telephone counseling and prayer to many prayer line partners and friends from back home. She genuinely prays for each person as if she's praying for one of her own. Such unconditional love is to be hailed. Thank you for that lesson, Mother. I have no doubt I do what I do from the heart because I have learned from the best teacher in the world. The other day I broke one of my teeth and had to have an emergency extraction. I cancelled all my counseling appointments except for one elderly lady that did not check her messages and went to my office for her counseling appointment. She called me from my office phone, and from her voice I could tell she was in distress. I got up, mouth swollen, and drove to my office with a scarf around my mouth. I knew she needed to talk more than I needed to nurse my swollen jaw. All I could think of is how unselfish Mother has been with her life. It was one of the best sessions we've had with that lady. My joy and peace comes from seeing my patients get relief, and that she did. When I help other people, I stop focusing on my so-called problems and realize that my life isn't so bad after all. This rids my entire being of all the stress and feelings of overwhelm. There is great peace and wisdom in thinking and caring about other people, which we are blind to when we are too deep within our own selfish ways. Never lose hope. Mother has been a champion through it all. She has learned to trust in Jesus and, in turn, taught to totally trust in the Lord. He is an all-knowing God. He knows where He's taking us. If my father had not remarried, got rid of me, and sent me to the United States so that he could bring his next wife to our home, there is a saying in Shona that goes, "Ayambutsa zongororo ariyambutsa zvamuchose, nokuti harichadzoke harigoni kuyambuka rega." When my father got rid of me and sent me to the USA, it was a blessing. This was God's way of changing the whole course of my family's life. It's been a blessing looking back and seeing how we've been blessed through it all. It's been humbling to see God's hand at work. He never forgot Mother's prayer. When we thought He had forgotten, why was this happening? And He knew His plans were bigger than our eyes could see. I am the voice of hope. When I'm on the radio presenting my gospel show, which is called Let's Praise Him, Ngatimurumbidzei Asim Dumiseni, on www.visionsfm.com. I have every reason to praise Him because He knows my heart. He knows how much I want to serve Him and bring the hope I have known to others. My name, Stembile, means hope. Hope is something you can never afford to lose. With hope, you always have a path towards peace. Whenever we get too stressed out and overwhelmed within our own life, we forget that hope. We forget that the sun always shines after a rainy day and that this is merely a bump in the road. I find immense peace in just knowing deep within my heart that everything will be okay. With hope, I know that whatever is seemingly terrible for right now is only temporary, that soon enough things will just be fine. This lifts off all the negativity from my entire being, and I feel better pretty much instantly. Live in the present moment. What a journey. Seeing Mother living in the present is priceless. It's interesting that most of the time what we worry about is relating to something either in the past or something that hasn't happened. Mother went through the struggle of relating to the past for a very long time. Living in the present moment erases all such thoughts. Why worry about something in the past that we cannot ever change? She has accepted that she cannot change what happened. The love between her and her father is a new love. What they had is no longer the same, but the respect can be restored because of us children. We are a product of them both. We love both dearly, and we would not be without the other. We can take care of both. Dad will be taken care of wherever he is. If he chooses to come here, he too deserves and will receive the same royal treatment. They both sacrificed a lot for us to be where we are. Mother and I used to be such people who worried all the time, to the point where we both had trouble sleeping. Once we learned to live in the present moment, to determine between what we can and cannot control, and controlling those things we could, when we stopped thinking about the past and any potential future, we were at peace. Mother is definitely at peace, and in turn my life is definitely more at peace since I have noticed her sense of peace and gratitude. It's my role as her eldest child to ensure that with God's help and guidance, both my parents learn to dance beyond their tears. Yes, their tears. Somehow I believe there were many nights my father shed tears and no one will ever know. He is a very loving father and at some point was a loving husband to Mother. I know God will see that they both will live to see His glory. Lessons learned. I have been through many tearful moments and overcame. As believers, we must face the reality that we'll face many hard trials. Yet, we can face each storm with the calm assurance that though we have been battered, we are never defeated. Though we have been victimized, we can choose a life that is free of the emotional hold of victimhood. I've been to hell and back at times. Mother has had it even worse, but she's still standing. It's time for our best life. It's time for our blessings. For God, who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," made his light shine in our hearts to give us the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Christ. A dose of motivation. Are you living the life you love? Are you doing what you love and loving what you're doing? Are you doing exactly the kind of work that makes you want to leap out of bed each morning excited to begin a new day? Does your work satisfy a deep need to express yourself, your talents, your values, and your unique and precious gifts? Does your work satisfy a deep need to express yourself, your talents, your values, and your unique and precious gifts? Does your work allow for a balanced life, one that leaves time for family and friends, for exercise or hobbies, and for yourself? Are you in a fulfilling relationship? Are you doing your part to ensure a balance? Remember that you deserve the best, and whether you see it or not, the potter is at hand weaving your life. Though the answers sometimes appear to be taking way too long, wait on the Lord, for he shall make sure your destiny is fulfilled. We'll cry tears at one time or another. However, I want to remind you that you owe it to yourself to live the life you were created to have. Wishing you a blessed and happy life. Beyond the tears, may you find your own hope, happiness, and joy.